Judges 7, 1 through 8, and 16 through 22. Jerubbaal, that is, Gideon, got up early the next morning, all his troops right there with him. They set up camp at Herod's spring. The camp of Midian was in the plain, north of them, near the hill of Moriah. God said to Gideon, "You have too large an army with you. I can't turn Midian over to them like this. They'll take all the credit, saying I did it all myself, and forget about me. Make a public announcement. Anyone afraid, anyone who has any qualms at all, may leave Mount Gilead now and go home." 22 companies headed for home. 10 companies were left. God said to Gideon, "There are still too many. Take them down to the stream, and I'll make a final cut. When I say, 'This one goes with you,' he'll go. When I say, 'This one doesn't go,' he won't go." So Gideon took the troops down to the stream. God said to Gideon, "Everyone who laps with his tongue, the way a dog laps, set on one side, and everyone who kneels to drink, drinking with his face to the water, set to the other side." 300 lapped with their tongues from their cupped hands. All the rest knelt to drink. God said to Gideon, "I'll use the 300 men who lapped at the stream to save you, and give Midian into your hands. All the rest may go home." After Gideon took all their provisions and trumpets, he sent all the Israelites home. He took up his position with the 300. The camp of Midian stretched out below him in the valley. He divided the 300 men into 3 companies. He gave each man a trumpet and an empty jar, with a torch in the jar. He said, "Watch me and do what I do. When I get to the edge of the camp, do exactly what I do. When I and those with me blow the trumpets, you also, all around the camp, blow your trumpets and shout, 'For God and for Gideon.'" Gideon and his 100 men got to the edge of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch, just after the sentries had been posted. They blew the trumpets, at the same time smashing the jars they carried. All 3 companies blew the trumpets and broke the jars. They held the torches in their left hands and the trumpets in their right hands, ready to blow, and shouted, "A sword for God and for Gideon!" They were stationed all around the camp, each man at his post. The whole Midianite camp jumped to its feet. They yelled and fled. When the 300 blew the trumpets, God aimed each Midianite's sword against his companion, all over the camp. They ran for their lives, to Beit Shittah, toward Zerah, to the border of Abel Meholah, near Tabbath. Judges chapter 13, verse 1, and verse 24 and 25, and chapter 15, verse 20. And then the people of Israel were back at it again, doing what was evil in God's sight. God put them under the domination of the Philistines for 40 years. The woman gave birth to a son. They named him Samson. The boy grew, and God blessed him. The Spirit of God began working in him while he was staying at a Danite camp between Zorah and Eshtaol. Samson judged Israel for 20 years in the days of the Philistines.